Have you heard of my beautiful friend Water, the innovator of the phrase, let it flow? You may have seen her. She gets around quite a bit. Oh, that sweet Water. She is quite the mover and shaker, and she has friends all over, and all sorts adore her. She came to be when her two gay hydrogen fathers approached their good friend Oxygen with the idea of creation, new life, a new beginning. And the conversation had been stirring that life had become a little stagnant and sticky. The hydrogens and oxygen felt a need to let a little flow in. And despite their differences, they felt a bit like innovators with their idea. It took a while to figure out a formula that worked, but when those hydrogen fathers sandwiched oxygen between themselves, Water was born. Out of polarity came this neutral solvent. In a sense, it was structured improvisation, all the elements working in their own way, nature tending toward perfection, despite how odd the occurrence or how illogical it may seem. Within this improvisation was a creation of malleability. Water was mischievous youth and a wonderful teacher. She would always be a fantastic imitator with a photographic memory. She ran wild through the woods, blessing all that she could touch, taking in everything it had to offer, adding it into herself, and then moving in her own unique way. And then there was no boundary she could not reach beyond. Even when she was out of sight, she was still around. She traveled wherever her heart wanted to go, growing large and vast, connecting herself to everything she came into contact with, leaving pieces of herself behind as to grow her ideas of prospective change, magical adaptation, ultimate mobility and convergence. Water was always ahead of her time. The other elements were a bit jealous of her ability to transmutate herself, not realizing that she was changing them as she changed herself. In any situation or environment that she touched, they marveled at her cooperative relationship to temperature, and they wondered at her ability to patiently weather all stages of her cycles. Even when at times she was as cold as ice, she was still quite graceful. It was a common observation that she could be the most gentle of the elements, but also one of the most threatening. When I was a child, my grandfather told me, if you respect Water, she will respect you. If you honor her, she will teach you to honor yourself. And I would swim within the skin of Water. I would gently pull my arms down upon her, breaking the surface tension and submersing myself inside of her, thinking always that she would hold me and move me along. As I grew, I became closer to Water. She enjoyed the respect and came to visit often. She would follow me on all of my travels, and she never complained about the weather, except to say that she thought that the desert had an unspoken grudge, which was fine, because I rarely traveled anywhere but through the desert to some other lush region. We talked long about the desert and its sense of helplessness that is disguised through resilience. Water joked that anywhere that she wasn't allowed to hang out for too long was no place for anyone to be. Some had accused Water of being a bit of a loiter at inconvenient times. Water knows more about this earth and everyone on it than you could even ever imagine. I suppose if she was anyone else, she would be a big gossip, but actually she is a fantastic secret keeper. Water remembered every conversation, every thought, every prayer. She always knew my worries and needs, and when recognized would become the most brilliant amplifier. She absorbed every change and flowed through every integration When others didn't want to be like anyone else, water was always totally herself, meaning to say, water wanted to be everyone and everything, always and forever, which is exactly what she is. Everything and nothing. She loves when you gaze within her shimmering eyes to see your own reflection, because you are her and she is you. She was born knowing that it is her mission to share that knowledge, hence all of her worldly travels, from the tiniest blood vessel to the widest sea. She's been there, all up in it. Sometimes she shares the beauty she has experienced through her snowflakes, little perfect geometric shapes. Water captures prayers and praises and changes them into the most beautiful little expressions. And if you stare at the sky and attempt to catch them on your tongue, did you know you're taking inside of yourself someone else's prayer or affirmation as it falls back down to earth? You are sharing a piece of someone else, which has inherently been recorded and crystallized by water. When you bathe in water, you are sitting in a collection of thoughts and experiences and eliminations. And water is in bliss when you finally see it for yourself. Water tells us that just as she must come, she must go. And as she gathers along her way, she must release. She reminds us that as we take time to eliminate her from our bodies through exertion and elimination, that it's good to consciously get rid of old thoughts that are no longer serving us, and that it's also a process in the cycle to appreciate and honor. At times it may seem like water is stressed out by life, angered by the sight of pain and dis-ease, and she will come wailing in from the sky, hitting the eyes of passers-by as they run for shelter in her seeming helter-skelter, and people curse her for raining down, thinking something as gentle as water should never create waves. But some days she can't help herself. She can be a catalytic force to be reckoned with. It'd be ridiculous to think that one with such a brilliant memory would remember to be gentle all the time. Think of all the pain and destruction she has seen not at her own hand or wave. Like the tears in your eyes, sometimes things need to be washed away, to clean house and to start over. She shared so much of herself with us, and we have unconsciously given back so much crap that at times it seems like she's attacking, but she, just as we, at times, need to purge. What most fail to see is the lesson of our own reflection, our willingness toward emotional pollution, our blames and lack of solutions, our anger at our environment and ourselves, our desire for help, but our unwillingness to ask. What if change just means perspective? Water has been teaching us the whole time that our ability to handle all of this is within our control, but we let go of our cooperation some time ago. Slowly, there are those hoping to win it back. They see the potential of fluidity in humanity. They understand the plan at the hand of water. They want her to guide us because she cut her own path, and she constantly goes back to source. She learns and takes with her wherever she goes. She flows freely, changing environmentally, adding to biology, always giving back in constant cycles. Her consciousness is all of us. We cannot exist without what she has to offer. Her filing cabinet is our planet. It is the record keeper and proof that she has been here and somehow and some way made a difference. And so I think now is our chance to share our appreciation for water. If every day we choose to bless her, she will be more willing to share her secrets with us. The first secret is this: you are never far from truth, and can change when this you do say. Water, great record keeper, great transmutator, blessed giver of life, I honor you. I thank you. I love you. For you are the cutter of the path, the source of the moisture to the earth, vapor of the rainbow, a silent white morning evident in our sky, moisture to the earth. You flow around me, through me, and back to the earth, constantly changing and yet always staying in some form. Water, I bless you. I honor you. Thank you, great teacher. I walk in the path of respect for you. Thank her daily, and her secrets will seep inside of you. One must ask first for that knowledge. It is part of a sacred development to learn to ask for it, and then to be willing to receive what it has to offer. She teaches her lessons in many ways, and one must not judge it with any sense of duality. Water is not good or bad. She is what she is. The reflection of the observer. Blessed to always have her as a great teacher, always blessed to be her student. But this too is perspective. Water has been known to manipulate change in the perspective of others. The difference is in the conscious realization, which is when she says to you, let it flow. Just let it go and ride with it. Take a deep breath. Keep your eyes open and drop off the edge. Get really, really wet. Don't fight the current. Watch out for obstruction. Use your body, mind, and soul together. That's the function. Have confidence. You can handle this.